Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wineman TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine program where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And speaking of spending your wine dollars wisely, we have Willow Crest, which is an awesome winery. Their wines are all reasonably priced. All of these run at 13 bucks a piece. And we have with us the winemaker Julie Brown.
Yes.
Say hi.
Hi.
There's actually people who watch this, so.
Oh yeah, I watched quite a few of them.
All right, Julie. So why don't you tell everyone how you got involved in the wine business? How did you get interested in wine, and where did you go, and how did you get started with Willow Crest?
Yeah, I started with Banal Family Cellar. Worked there for about 3 years. Was introduced to the wine industry for Ron Banal. Worked for him for about 3 harvests of premium red wines. Kind of my heart passion. After that, I went on to Columbia Crest for a harvest as an intern in the Chardonnay Barrel Room. And then once that finished, a spot at Willow Crest opened up. Ron Banal at that point had moved over to, still has his own winery, but had moved over to it as a consulting winemaker for Precept. And spot opened up, niche needed to be filled, so I did it. And it's an incredible site. It's a strictly aromatic whites, so all whites for you.
Yeah.
It's something special.
So Ron Banal, I know he does reds, but he's does some awesome whites.
Yes.
He has some nice blends. He does doesn't he do a really nice Roussanne?
He does. It's a Roussanne Viognier. It's called Helene.
Yeah. So he's a good teacher. He's been doing it for a while. So what made you decide though, before you went to college at Yakima
Community
College, what made you decide to get involved in enology?
Actually, the winery itself, I was a business management major originally down in California, where I'm from. And then moved up here, worked with Ron for a little while to start and run their wine club.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of pushed me in the cellar for just as a helping hand. Saw that aspect and decided there was no way I was ever leaving. So
Yeah, I can understand that. So you actually went to Ron. So was it Ron first and then college, or?
yes, so
Okay.
it was Ron
Gotcha.
first, and then I went to college while working for Ron.
Okay. Right. They have didn't realize they had an enology program there.
Yeah, so it's a nice teaching winery. It's really nice to be able to go from the classroom as well as in the winery when you're learning. A lot of winemaking is so hands-on that you can only learn so much from a book.
Absolutely.
So
What is your goal as far as, I mean, not future goal, but what is your goal as far as how you feel about making your white wines? Because we just talked, you do 1 Cab Franc and 3 whites, pretty much. So what is your goal, or what is the goal of Willow Crest as far as their approach to making their wines? What are they looking for? What's the focus?
a lot of it is we'd like to focus on the aromatic whites. We have a strictly aromatic white wine facility. The reds are done under Ron's supervision, but at a different facility site. So it's being able to focus and having a unique facility that is kind of unheard of in Washington, is to have a strictly aromatic white wine facility. There's no barrel storage, there's no nothing. So to be able to focus on that really produces a much higher caliber of wines.
Okay.
And that's just kind of our focus, is trying to make the best aromatic wines that we can.
So is it all stainless steel, or do you
All
do any
stainless.
no concrete
All
stuff?
stainless.
Yeah? All right, cool. Well, that's awesome. In fact, I'm doing starting to do a little series on my blog. I have 2 blogs. I have my StanTheWineman.com, and then I'm a writer on a blog, writer's blog for Seattle PI.
Wonderful.
And I'm doing a focus on women in wine.
Okay, very cool.
Because, obviously wine has been a male-dominant
Yes, it has.
business for a long time. I think up in Washington, I was trying to think of who would be the first really strong. I know, Sagelands, Frederique. Are you familiar with her? Do you know?
I'm not, unfortunately.
I knew her name about a half hour ago. Anyway, she's the head winemaker for Sagelands, and I think she's probably, I would think, one
Maureen.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, Maureen.
Yeah. And she was probably one of the first strong women winemakers in Washington State, I believe. And then we have Anna from Amaris Cellars, and she's there. And I think now Cote Bonville
Yep.
his daughter is now the head winemaker at Cobonville, and I read just recently, I don't know if you heard this, Matthew. By the way, Matthew from Unique Wines is here, helping me run the camera. Now 50% of the folks in UC Davis are women.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, 50% of the enrollment is women. So, we're seeing a big push that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Italy probably needs to catch up a little bit, some of the European countries, but even there, they're starting to get really strong personality. California's way ahead.
Yes.
Helen Turley, Kathy Corson, there's just a bunch of them down there that have really taken, really moved ahead. Heidi Barrett. All right, so maybe you could be a focus. Maybe I could do, we'll use part of this interview to,
Perfect.
To be part of that article, because I think it's important for people to realize that women are really interested in wine. They're really going to be a big part of it, I think, 5 to 10 years from now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you said you want to start with the Pinot Gris.
Yes.
All right. Give it a little rinse first off, just in case Mike doesn't wash his glasses very well. By the way, all of you that watch know that this is Mike's Wine Bar and Cafe. Awesome little place to do my shoots. He's let me do it today here. Thank you, Mike, for letting me do it. He's down in Seattle right now.
So he left you the key?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Nice.
So this is Willow Crest Estate grown 2012, so you have your own vineyards. How many acres do you have?
So it's about 300 acres for the Willow Crest site. And Pinot Gris is one of the first ones he started with. So Dave Minnick is kind of the owner-founder.
Right.
And he joined with Precept a few years back. And Pinot Gris was one that he had sold his grapes. He's a 4th generation farmer. So he started with the vineyards.
Right.
And also always sold his grapes. And then after a while he was getting, the winemakers were getting good reviews, and he wanted to be able to make his own stuff.
Sure.
So he started the winery. And Pinot Gris was one of the first ones he started with. He was one of the first ones in Washington to do 100% Pinot Gris.
Okay.
He really liked the fruit and thought it should be showcased. And it's kind of just always been his thing. He started out with kind of messing with a little bit of residuals, so some of his later stuff has some residual. And we try and balance that out. The site for Willow Crest is a pretty high acid site. So we have really cool nights, and it just produces some absolutely incredible fruit. So we actually can have a little bit higher residual in most of our wines without having that flavor out. So we actually balance it out. We almost never add acid. We don't need to.
Okay.
So it makes for a very unique Pinot Gris.
All right, let's get a shot of it. 13% alcohol, so we're not talking big bad boy alcohol. Is that good? All right, there you go. Yakima Valley is the appellation.
Yep.
So is it in any specific area, like Rattlesnake Hills? Or?
No, it's just about 8 miles north of Prosser.
Okay.
Yakima, and it's actually literally a stone's throw away from the winery. And that's one of the unique things about the winery is not only is it strictly aromatic whites, but we are so close to the vineyards that our turnaround time from fruit to press is incredible.
Yeah.
It never actually, for the Pinot Gris, it never even makes it into a truck because it's machine harvest into gondolas, and then the tractors bring it straight to the winery and dump into the press.
Right.
So it makes for.
So for you viewers, a lot of wineries will haul their fruit literally miles. I mean, some wineries down in, they press it here and then haul the juice down to California, or vice versa. But so it is really important that the fruit has very little handling. So
Handling, very little skin contact, especially with Pinot Gris, because the grapes have color. So the more time you have on the skin, the more color extract you're going to get, especially when you have any kind of heat. With aromatic whites, it's all about temperature, all about keeping that as cold as possible. So even when your berries get too warm, your juice is too warm, the first thing that happens when you raise those temperatures, you lose the fruit.
Yeah.
You lose the fruit in aromatic wine.
Yeah.
There goes your wine.
Yeah.
So.
The first thing I get on this is a little bit like that honeydew rhyme. Rhyme. What rhymes with honeydew?
Did you filming a thing right now?
Did you happen to find the?
You got some curious. You get a little wet stone on it too, which is interesting. What was Matthew? Oh, did he go outside? What did he need?
He lost his wallet here last
Oh, he
night.
lost his wallet. We're right downtown Freddie Harbor. You can see all this. I mean, this is end of July. We're talking August is going to rock around here. I mean, this is like the time in Freddie Harbor, San Juan Island. So it's such a nice ambiance.
It's beautiful.
A little warm in here.
Well, talk about nice weather too. This is great.
So, I don't know if you have thought about this, but it used to be back, well, 8-10 years ago, you could tell the difference between Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigio stylistically.
Mm-hmm.
Pinot Gris always seemed to have some wood. They like to use wood on it, so it got
Yeah.
a honeysuckle sort of thing. But then all of a sudden, the winemaker started going like, "I'm not going to do that. I just want to call it Pinot Gris and do it in a
Yeah.
more lean style." So now, as wine stewards, we're going like, okay, we'll just have to taste it first because
Yes.
they don't stick. I don't think there were any rules to it, but
No.
Grigio always was leaner than Gris.
Mm-hmm.
So those rules do not apply anymore.
Yeah. We do have a little tasting room with Browser, and we do. It's only about 50 cases or so, tasting room only, of a reserve Pinot Gris that we do still do in oak.
Okay.
But for the most part, that's it.
Actually, this does have a nice creaminess on the palate, which is surprising because the nose is so mineral driven. I get a lot of rind, like honeydew rind, honeydew. What are you getting on the nose?
All that same nice high citrus to it.
A little lemon.
What high citrus carries through all of them.
This is a great Pinot Gris, especially in the Pacific Northwest, because I mean, this would go great with oysters, clams, mussels. I mean, I would cook my mussels in this while I was drinking it at the same time.
I've done that.
Yeah. I mean, it has that nice lemon lime zest, a little bit of peach. I get a little bit of peach going on in the background. Nice balance. Oh, very good wine. I mean, this is for what, $13 we said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a killer deal, as I would say. So how many people are involved in the actual blending process? Just to help them, blending is the biggest part of winemaking as far as the final product, and usually the winemaker, and if you have a consultant, that's their main goal, but everybody has a different way of doing it. I know Randy from Mount Baker Vineyards has like 8 people on the panel.
Yeah, so our panel's a little bit smaller. Generally speaking, it's Ron and I that will sit down, and with the Willow Crest Pinot Gris, we have some larger tanks at our facility because we do process quite a bit of fruit. But I say that, but almost everything has multiple different tanks per lot. So with the Willow Crest Pinot Gris, we'll have about 5 or 6 different tanks to choose from to go into the blend. So generally, it starts off of I taste every tank during harvest constantly. And then towards the end of harvest, when it comes time for blending, is I'll taste every tank and I'll pick kind of my top 3 or 4. And then I'll sit down and my winemaker and the consulting winemaker, Ron Bonnell, will sit down and we'll generally try and come up with about 4 or 5 different blends that we like. We'll then to make those blends and we'll taste them with basically anybody in the winery that is around. So any of the interns, any of the office manager, Dave Minnick, the original owner, will come in and taste. And we'll try and narrow it down to about 2 or 3. And then that will send over to our director of winemaking. And then between the 3 of us, we kind of decide which of those blends we like the best.
Okay. So you ask everybody what they think, huh?
Yep, and it's normally it's a blind tasting, and y'all vote, and best one wins.
All right. That's a good way to go about it. I love democracy, wine blending. All right, so this is the 2013 Willow Crest Estate Grown Sauvignon Blanc, Torch Yakima Valley, $13. Take a look at the label. You guys have really done a nice job with your labeling.
Yes, these are brand new
Changed it
labels.
quite a
It
bit.
changed in 2012, was
Is
the
that good?
first year for whites, and 2011 was the first year for the new label in reds. And for the Sauv Blanc, it's actually a brand new SKU for us. We never made a Sauv Blanc in the past. And in 2012, there was a call for it. We had enough people coming through the tasting room and enough call from distributors and things like that. They really wanted to see a Sauv Blanc. So Dave cleared out one of the old vineyards and planted a brand new block. And so in 2012 was the first vintage of it. So pretty baby vines. And the 12, I mean, it skyrocketed. It was great. It was very, very well received. So this is the 13. We try and go more towards that tropical style, more of that papaya fruit, less of the grapefruit. You're still going to get a little bit of that grassy, but not too bad.
Or too good, depending on
Yeah,
your viewpoint.
not too heavy.
Yeah. I mean, some of them really like the grass, especially since it's legal now in Washington.
Yeah. Could try and lean away from more of that New Zealand style, more towards that tropical style.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand, it's like, I always tell everybody, you could line up, put a little bit of milk food coloring in of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc and line it up with like Florida natural grapefruit juice, and you couldn't tell the difference.
Oh yeah.
Other than the after effect.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much grapefruit in New Zealand, but I'm very picky. I think I really have a hard time with California Sauvignon Blanc. I think they're flabby, they lack the acidity that they need. And until I discovered Happy Canyon and San Ynez, they do killer Sauvignon Blanc. So it is a tough category to jump into if you don't do it right.
It is. It is. And this just turned out really well.
Yeah, you're really getting the tropical fruit notes on the nose. Crazy.
Yeah, and that little bit of grass that you get, that little bit of that herbaceous that you get in the nose, doesn't follow through much in the palate.
Okay.
Pretty much gone. So it's very,
It's
very
almost like a
palatable,
dried
really
grass.
nice. Yeah.
Not fresh cut grass.
Yeah. But the palate I get is it's super crisp, super light finish. You get that really nice acid bump at the end.
Wow. I think I might have a new placement for a Sauvignon Blanc in my store.
Yeah.
Because that tropical, I mean, it's like dried papaya mango, but like you said, it has that nice acidity that drives it through the palate.
Absolutely.
But it lingers. I mean, I'm getting that tropical fruit just lingers for a long time. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was talking earlier about that residual sugar that we get to play with a little bit. This actually is not dry. It does have a little residual sugar. You don't get that sweetness to it. And it's just to help offset because there is so much acid in that fruit.
I mean, yeah, it makes it rounder on a good palate, but definitely not sweet because it finishes with that almost like, very the acidity and the fruit kind of blend together at the finish. Awesome. So, well, I know you're not here to get placements, but you just got one.
Hey, that works for me. So.
And I did make a home for this Riesling because it got some big ups, got some good awards. I think it got like a President's Medal or something I was reading on the website. Which is really cool. Because there is a ton of good Riesling out of Washington State. Probably one of the #1 varietals out of Washington State.
Absolutely, yeah, it is.
So this is a 2012 Willow Crest Riesling, Yakima Valley. You ready, Matthew?
Yes.
You right about there? Good?
A little bit higher. There you go.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. I always like it when a winery improves the label. Some of them go backwards. It's like, why did you do that? But this is a big improvement.
Yes.
I like it a lot. The other one was a little like, reminded me of Mod Squad or,
Yeah, it was a
the
bit
Brady
outdated.
Bunch. Yeah.
So I like the flavor of this one. I particularly love this Riesling.
It has petrol all over the nose. This is like diesel and rubber boot. All us wine geek guys love that stuff. That's a hard one. I'm going to do a Riesling seminar one of these days. I haven't been able to do it because I was going to do it in September, but now I'm going to Portugal and Spain for a couple weeks, so that put that on the back burner. But I think people need to understand what you're looking for in a Riesling.
Absolutely.
The really good ones have this kind of nose.
Yes.
You don't taste it as much as you smell it.
Yeah.
That's spot on the nose. I mean, perfect.
What I love about this Riesling is it's not super sweet. So you get that. I mean, it does have a pretty high high residual sugar to it. But you have that balance there. Typically, all these ones are super high to the point where you get that high of a residual, because you get that super sweet fruit front,
Right.
but you have none of that heavy syrup finish. So
Right.
it's still super light in the back. So you get the people that like the super sweet wine, they can still drink this. For the people that don't like sweet wine, can also still drink it. It's not that heavy syrup.
Exactly.
Like you're drinking.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Big fruit up front, then it just dries out. And that sort of that petrol is there, but it's very masked by the fruit.
Yeah, that's what we try to do with this reason is just kind of play on that acidity as much as possible, be able to get that balance in there, where we can hit, a group of people that is as wide as we possibly can. Those that like sweet wines and those that like dry wines. Pretty much anybody can get into this, especially with super cold on the patio.
Oh, yeah.
It's really nice.
Well, and the beauty of this Riesling too is that it starts out New World, goes Old World.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely very Rheingau sort of finish on it. And the Moselle, get that, like I said, that petrol kind of rubber boot thing on the backside, but enough fruit that it just kind of all blends together.
Yeah.
And this, again, you have this with shellfish easily.
Oh yeah.
Easily. Wow, that's hard to spit out.
It's a day off, buddy. What are you worried about?
I don't really spit out on my lunch break. What are you talking about? I do a lot of these videos on my lunch break off work at my house, so
There.
not here. I can't have Mike Sheridan in all my videos. It's like a slapstick comedy thing. That's really cool. I mean, excellent whites for those of you that are looking for whites that represent Washington State and what they can do, and at a great value. They're all $15.
Yep.
And an up-and-coming star in the Washington wine world, Julie Brown. Thanks for coming, Julie.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers. Here's keeping the snob out of wine.